Good morning, everybody. Yesterday I spent moving things around again. I'm constantly moving things around to suit my needs, but it's not wasteful. Years ago I did that and it was kind of like OCD. Like I was never satisfied, never happy, constantly moving everything around, constantly moving the table in the dining room around. But now at this part of my life, when I move something around, it's because it's going to serve a purpose, not so much because of OCD. And yesterday I did that. I waited until it got dark because it was really hot here. So after dark, it still wasn't that cool, but I have AC, ceiling fans, whatever, and I was able to move things around. So behind me here is my desk space temporarily. This is going to be here for the next couple of days, but I'm about to write my third novel. I've already written my first two. My first one took me years to write because I was working full-time in corporate America. My second one I finished in 2026 in just a matter of months. This one I've been doing a lot of research for. It's based on a true story. I can't reveal any of the information because it's based on things that are ongoing. But that's the one I'm working on now. So what I did was, because of the reasons I just said, I needed a different space for this third novel. I have tons and tons of research. I have research on my iPad. I have research in my phone. I have research on notepads, and it's all scattered. Not because I'm scatterbrained. I'm actually very organized, believe it or not. It doesn't seem like that sometimes, but I am. The thing is, I have to put everything together now. If you've never embarked on writing a novel, sometimes it can become a mess. My first novel took years. I wrote it weekends, after work, whenever I got the urge to write. It was an outlet, a creative outlet for me, because I was working in corporate America in a stressful job. It was just something to do after, or when I had some downtime. That's why it took me years to write. The second novel I did this year. I set up a goal planner at the beginning of the year, and I finished it in months. This one, though, I've been doing this research for this every single day now. And the first novel, even though it took me years, it was pretty well laid out, thoughtful, and by the time I got to the end, I changed my ending like 5 times. The second novel I wrote, the ending didn't really change, but the beginning did. So by the time I got to the end, I thought of something totally different. And how I keep track of it all, usually, notepads, I have a glass whiteboard where I put sticky notes, and I separate the sticky notes in columns by plot, character, places. And then when I go back and look at my drafts, I make sure things line up. This third novel, though, is based on true events. My first 2 novels are psychological thrillers. My third novel is kind of a psychological thriller, but it's based on real events. So it's, not made up characters here. What I'm finding out with this third novel is because I've done so much research for it, and there are so many depths of each character and layers to peel back. It's all jumbled. My first 2 novels went more smoothly. I didn't have to have, a dedicated room. I didn't have to have whiteboards and CSI boards and things that look like a crime scene investigation. But with this third novel, I was joking around the other day with a friend, and I said, I'm going to need a whole room, like a whole building, like a whole warehouse with blank walls that I can just start writing on. All my notes and characters and one of those maps with the push pins. I'm going to have to do that. So now I'm at the point where I have so much information and I'm doing flowcharts that I have to have a designated space. So that's why I'm moving things around again. I have a room where other things are in right now. I'm pulling all that out, and by the weekend, what you see behind me here, this is my book nook. It was over in a different corner of my room. I swapped out my craft station with my book nook. Now, this is going to be something else, a regular desk for bill paying and things like that. And this is going to go in that other room as a dedicated book nook with a door so I can shut it when I need privacy or to think, without all the background noise in the household. And I bought these really cool whiteboard they're like roll out self-stick whiteboards from Walmart. They're shipping today. I went with those because they were inexpensive, $10 a piece. They're like 17 high by like 5 or 6 feet wide. So I figured I could cover the back of my wall opposite of where I'm going to be sitting, so I could just turn around and make my notes, do my flow charts when I need a quick note to write, when I'm thinking and writing, because a lot of it sometimes is jotting down thoughts that you don't want to forget. And I have a lot of trouble with that. I have a lot of trouble with remembering my thoughts. So I might think of something really good, and then all of a sudden, poof, it's gone. I'm constantly using an app on my phone where I keep notes with, so that I don't forget. I just make reminders to myself. So I thought if I had a dedicated place and a dedicated wall with the whole whiteboard thing going, then for quick notes, I'm sitting in there typing, right? And then I could just turn around, make a quick note. It's not a permanent note, so I can erase it, but I don't need to take up a whole notebook page to write it down either. And I don't want to put it in my book, for example, if I'm writing and I'm in a chapter, because I don't want to clog up my present thoughts with that other thought, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I think a lot. I'm a deep thinker. So I am constantly coming up with new ways of keeping notes, tracking my thoughts, making sure that I don't forget anything, especially like when I do YouTube videos. You wouldn't believe how many times I have really good thoughts and I forget to put them in the video. So I definitely don't want to forget my thoughts in the books. And that's why I'm doing this, so that next time, so today is Thursday, tomorrow is Friday. By the 4th of July, I will be in a different book nook, and it will be set up like more of a investigative room than a book writing desk in a corner. So let me show you what I did last night. This was where I was sitting before, in front of the bigger window, and I have, my flowers, my baker's twine, my cardstock, scrapbook paper, my tools. I have all that here. And there is my microphone, because this thing has plugs. It's really cool. I did a whole video about this when I first got it, and I first made a craft station. And then here's my sewing table with my drawers and, my sewing machine and all that, right next to my little craft studio. And then I have a chair here, of course, on wheels, that I can sit here and do my crafts when I want to make a greeting card, a floral arrangement, whatever I'm doing. This was where the craft station was up until last night, and now I have my book writing desk here. I'm ready to go with my thesaurus, my dictionary. Yeah, I still use books, if you believe it or not. I do also look up online, like if I needed quick word definition, but I do use old-fashioned books. I even have a Greg reference manual. Years ago when I was in college, I had that for one of my courses, and I recently found it again at a thrift store for $1, so I picked it up, because I don't have my original one, of course. But all of this you see here will be in a dedicated place for my third novel. This area is becoming a different area altogether. Something that's non-interesting for bill paying or whatever, and that's all never going to be in videos, because that's all private, personal, household junk. So I have a smaller room here. This actually is a walk-in closet, but I converted it to, it's been multi-things. A craft closet, it's been a writing closet, it's been multiple things, but now I need this area more than ever. And this wall here, I know it's just a blank wall, this is where the whiteboards are going to go. And as you see, I already have a planner set up on the wall. You can also see that I have a TV over there with a dresser. I realized the things in my life that I did before, I don't even want to do it, enjoy doing it. I'm moving on. Book writing has helped me get through some of the hard times that I faced after challenging issues with my corporate job. So in a few days, I will be in a different area. I will be filming from a different room, and it's going to be my, what I call investigation room for my book, because it will give me more privacy in there. And I think it will be a nicer background. I'm going to, make it look a little nicer, possibly. I don't know. It could remain a mess. I don't know. So if you see me in a different setting, I haven't gone anywhere. I've just changed. I've changed the layout to accommodate my goal that I'm trying to accomplish next. How about you? What goals do you have? Are you in retirement age and are just like, I just do whatever I want? I don't have any goals? Are you sitting by a pool somewhere enjoying the weather and a cocktail in your hand? Are you living your dream? Are you moving around the country perhaps? Are you using an RV to travel? Are you homesteading now? I've seen people where they retire and they just go to homesteading. What has impacted your life to get you where you are today? And did you see it coming? Did you say to yourself 10 years ago, this is where I want to be when I'm now? Because I never saw this coming. I really honestly didn't. I never thought in a million years I'd be doing a YouTube video. That's like not me. Anybody that knows me knows I'm introverted. I am totally introverted. You wouldn't believe it, but I am. So I, of all people, would have never believed I'd be sitting in front of a camera doing YouTube videos. I certainly would have never believed I was on my third novel. Back when I was in corporate America, I started having these wild dreams. Wild dreams. I started recording them in a book because they were so crazy. But one thing stood out for me that was significant, and I kept seeing numbers. It didn't seem to matter what the number was, but it kept coming in threes. My very first dream was a spooky dream about clowns. I don't like clowns, they scare me. But the clock on the wall was 888, and the clown spoke to me, and he said, it's 8 o'clock somewhere. And that stuck with me. That creeped me out so much. I'm like, ugh. But this year in 2026, I've started seeing patterns of numbers, and it's really creepy. I'll put some screenshots up here. Once in a while, I'll grab a screenshot, but every time I look at a clock, it's a 3-digit, 444, 222, 111. But lately, it's been 1111, like double 11s. I'm like, what does this mean? I'm not into all that, dream interpretation and all that, or what do the numbers mean, but I did look it up because I was curious. And it said something about, you're going in the right direction, or you're being guided into the right direction. Now, I'm not saying I believe in all of that or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know what it means. Some people will say, well, it's a pattern. You're starting to see it because you saw it once. Now you can't stop seeing it. But it just seems really odd that that's all I see now. And I have to wonder, am I being guided? Am I on the right path? Maybe this is the right path. I don't know. Finally, for once, maybe I'm on the right path. When I was 3 or 4, my grandfather used to take me for walks. And I always used to say, all paths lead to McDonald's. And I've lived with that for my life. It's like all paths lead somewhere, right? If it's going to be somewhere, it should be McDonald's. If you see me next and I'm in a different room, it's still me. I'm just on to the next thing that I want to do. I hope you're living your best life. I hope this provides inspiration to somebody out there. Thanks so much for watching today. Take care.